This track contains sensitive content, including themes of sexual assault or harassment. Listener discretion is advised. If you need support, please reach out to a trusted friend or family member, or seek help from a mental health professional.
We were in a friend's car, coming back from a party where we all drank. He was sitting next to me, and he was a close friend. The back seat was crowded, so we were sitting very close to each other. He hugged me at first, which I didn't mind knowing we are close and he was tired and sleepy. Then he tried to kiss me. I pushed him away and said nothing so I wouldn't make a scene. He retried. I did the same thing. Then he moved his hands down and tried to touch me down there, even though our other friends were next to us. I pushed him away and said no several times. Then I arrived home. I was terrified and felt so disgusted. I couldn't sleep all night. The next day, he claimed he was drunk and didn't remember what happened. He apologized dearly and told me he felt guilty every time he saw me. But I still think about it, and it still hurts.
Consent occurs when one person voluntarily agrees to the proposal or desires of another. In our context, it is a mutual agreement between participants to engage in sexual activity, from kissing or touching to intercourse and everything in between. Consent is like fries, F-R-I-E-S. F, freely given. It's a choice you make without pressure, manipulation, or under the influence of drugs or alcohol. R, reversible, at any time. I, informed, having all the relevant information. For example, if someone says they'll use a condom and then they don't, then there's a breach of consent. E, enthusiastic, as you should only do stuff you want to do, not things that you feel you're expected to do. S, specific, because saying yes to one thing, like going to the bedroom to make out, doesn't mean you've said yes to others, like having sex.
I've denied for long that it was abuse, saying to myself that I wanted it since I let it happen. I was hanging out with a man. We started kissing. In no time, his pants were down, and he pressured me to perform oral sex, even though I refused many times. Under pressure, I did agree. First mistake. Then he started fingering me, and my thought was, that's a normal part of it, even though I was fully aware that it wasn't. Second mistake. I was eager to please, especially that he made me feel like I was wanted. It was part of gay culture, of me assuming the role of twink, because that's what he wanted, not who I actually was. I was afraid to stop him, but I wanted it to end. I felt so dirty afterwards. That's what it does to you. You start hating yourself. That was one of the first sexual experiences I've had. Now I know better. Consensual sex should be consensual.
Verbal consent is the clearest and safest form of consent. However, consent can also be nonverbal, like head nod, thumbs up, spontaneous active touching, and initiating makeout or sexual activity, for example. It's important to remember that body language is different for everyone, and relying on it alone can sometimes be problematic. If you're not sure that you're getting a clear, enthusiastic yes from your partner, it is your responsibility to ask. You cannot assume that you have consent because someone is not physically resisting or verbally refusing sexual contact. Consent is not to be inferred from silence, passivity, or a lack of resistance. Clear consent might be awkward sometimes, so you should search for signs from your partner and immediately stop if a no is heard.
A guy was getting too touchy and tried kissing my friend at a small house party. She refused and backed away. What signs indicate lack of consent? Wait for the next episode to know all about it.
To know more about what happened to our real-life survivors and to learn more about harassment and consent, check out the next episode of Love Shouldn't Hurt. To report a case of sexual harassment, contact the following NGOs or hotlines: UNHCR for Harassment, National Call Center 04 726 111, Himaya for Child Sexual Abuse, hotline 03 414 964, CAFA for Domestic and Other Forms of Violence, helpline 03 01 8019, أبعد hotline 81 788 178, Aldar Free and Safe Temporary Houses for Women at Risk 76 060 602, Men's Center engaging in providing support for men to promote nonviolent behaviors 71 283 820, MARSA for Sexual and Reproductive Health Services, helpline 01 380 515, Directorate General of the Internal Security Forces for Domestic Violence, hotline 1745.